I've got some monsters for you today. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to the Merry Monday Mailcall Show, so called because it's Monday here in Australia, and it's a great day for comic books. I have a monster haul for you today. We'll start off with some monster books, and then we're going to go to an even bigger haul. I've got a lot to go through, so we won't waste too much time with my meandering conversation at the beginning. I'd like to say welcome everyone. This is still only 35 cents, as I say. If you haven't already, if you're new to the channel, please consider hitting that subscribe button and ringing that notification bell for future content. It's been a busy week for me. I've been traveling, so I went to Hong Kong and Taiwan for work, and able to just grab a few minutes recently to go and check out some of the comic shops in both Hong Kong and Taiwan. So videos on those coming soon. You would have seen potentially the Hong Kong one where I ended up going to the Transformers Arc Experience, which is a great little restaurant. Unfortunately, it looks like it's closing. So if you haven't already, check out the video. It'll give you a really good sense of what that restaurant's like, as well as popping to a small little LCS there called Metro Comics, and I've got a pickup from there to share with you today as well. Other news. What other news do we have to share with you? We hit 1,500 subscribers, which is, I'm still reeling at that. That's super quick after hitting the 1,000 mark. So yeah, we're slowly but surely growing. So thank you all for the support. It's really appreciated. As you all know, I do have, you would have seen last week, the new displays up and running, so that's good too. What else do we have in the mix to share with my YouTube friends? We have memberships. As you can see here, memberships for the channel has just started. This is support for the Hero Initiative, so all memberships go to the Hero Initiative. We have already done a live video with Roy Thomas. That was one of the first member interviews that we've done. Got a few of those planned, working through those at the moment. Some of those might even be related to some of the books that you're seeing today, so stay tuned for that. And then we've scheduled a live sketch show later this month. The first one's going to be for all the subscribers, so anyone can watch that. We'll show you how I'm thinking about how we're going to run the show, and then that will become a members only live show as well. In addition, I want to thank the members, our inaugural members. We have Simple Simon, Brian LCS, Mad Spidey, Deadman Comic Cover Show, and Izzyverse NYC. So join the mix if you can. All proceeds, as I say, go to the Hero Initiative, which is a great cause helping artists and creators with sort of medical bills and things like that. So if you can, that'd be really great. And we'd love to have you as part of the price variance. So maybe I'll bring up the camera and the chat just to see who's in there. First of all, let's have a quick look. We have John's Comics with Kids. John, it's so good to see you. I don't think we've had you on the stream, so welcome. Really good to see you, mate. East Coast, I think. Maybe I'm right. And one of our aforementioned members, Deadman Comic Cover Show. Great to see you too. Welcome. Let's pop up the main camera because there's such a lot to go through. I'm messing around with a new setup. So I've got the screen here and the screen here. So you might see me looking down to chat throughout. But you're all here for the books. So let's bring up the stage and get this show started, shall we? Whilst I have you, we've got Padbed J. Good evening. How are you? Another new to the stream, I think, in terms of the live. So it's great to have you with us. All right. So we mentioned monsters. First off the list is a title that I've been loving. I've just picked up the trading card set as well. They're just back on Amazon. So if you feel like digging into some monsters. This book, Mark Spears' Monsters, he originally did a set of trading cards, and then I think released a second series of that. And he's just started, he did a Kickstarter for this book, and he's just started being published through Keenspot. I love this book. It's a nice concept of bringing all the Universal monsters together. And this, I mean, you can see the art is just absolutely phenomenal. Just beautiful throughout. Really happy to grab these. So if you see them on the shelf, look at that. Oh, nice bit of Creature from the Black Lagoon. Dracula there. So you get a real sense, and he's got a new Kickstarter coming as well for another series, The Monster and the Wolf. There's a great splash page in here that I want to share with you. I mean, again, art in here is pretty phenomenal. Story's awesome as well. So if you can, go and grab yourself a copy of Mark Spears' Monsters. It seems to be getting a bit of spec, so I thought that would be a good one to shot in the Monster series. Another modern that I was able to pick up is this James Tynan IV Universal Monsters Dracula story with art by Martin Simmons, the Image series. So I managed to pick this one up. I'm going to try and get the full, I think it's four issues for this run. But yeah, managed to pick up an issue 1 blank of Dracula to go alongside with my Frankenstein that I already have, which you would have seen, I think, last week. So that's a good one to add to the mix. Not necessarily monsters per se, but as you know, I'm a big fan of 2000 AD. So I've managed to find this half decent looking copy of 2000 AD monthly from Eagle Comics back in the 80s. So this is 2000 AD, features Judge Dredd story alongside the Strontium Dog stories as well. I'll give you a bit of a look inside this one whilst we have the camera and the book ready. So we've got Judge Dredd story. DR and Quince is in here as well, the Strontium Dog. Again, this is Ron Smith art on Judge Dredd here. Then the aforementioned DR and Quince. Drawn, script by Alan Moore. This is what's so great about this. This is Alan Moore and Alan Davis together. Post, I think, their Miracle Man run, or pre-Miracle Man. But again, great to have Alan Davis art in here alongside story by Alan Moore. And then, yay, Strontium Dog in there too, with Alan Grant on script and Carlos Esquera on art, Spanish artist. Well known for creating Judge Dredd, but also the Apocalypse War on the Judge Dredd run, and of course the Strontium Dog. But again, happy to pick that up, and as you can see, half decent looking copy there. So sort of on the monster theme. But then when we do talk about monsters, I have a copy of Devil Dinosaur #2. This came from that one came from this 2000 AD came from a toy fair here in Melbourne. So that $10 is Australian. So I paid in US probably about $7. So that's pretty good. Vincent's in the house. Hey Vincent, great to see you. Always a pleasure, sir. Always hanging out on the live, so great to see you. And if you've got any questions on the books, give me a shout or any comments. Love to hear your thoughts as we go through. Devil Dinosaur is an interesting one. Short run. I think there's only 9 issues of Devil Dinosaur, the first one. Jack Kirby, classic book here with Moon Boy on the cover and the aforementioned Devil Dinosaur fighting a giant spider. So I thought that fitted quite well in the monster realm. This is from Future Past Vintage Collectibles. Did pay a lot for it, but again, grade-wise, near mint. Super happy to pick up issue 2 there. And then I also managed to pick up a copy of issue 3. Again, another near mint from 1978. More monster goodness there. A T-Rex, or looks like a T-Rex or a Godzilla creature. And then Devil Dinosaur number 7. And there'll be a future video which will explain why I ended up with the Devil Dinosaur series. But yes, this was just anything Jack Kirby, particularly in the later part of the Marvel run, I'm picking up, as well as his DC work. So over time, really enjoying having some books by Jack the King Kirby. This is again another high grade near mint plus. So these are all sort of 9.4s to 9.6s. They're very good in terms of their grades, future passive vintage collectibles. So there's a decent, nice pickups for me. Comment from Pad Bear. Have you read the Rogue Trooper Blighty Valley story by Garth Ennis and Patrick Goddard from the recent run of 2018? Worth picking up if you haven't. I don't know if I have it. I have a collection that I bought, which I still haven't managed to film yet, of 2000 AD books all the way up to the current run. So I haven't had a chance to dig through that yet. So I will have a look. I will certainly keep that in mind. What's the main? I'd be interested to hear what's the Rogue Trooper's always been a favorite of mine, and I'm lucky enough to have a first appearance of him, but I haven't dug into it of late. So yeah, that's a good pickup there, or good suggestion. So there we have Devil Dinosaur, and I thought picked up this copy of Fantastic Four 186 with the Salem 7. If you've been watching the Agatha series, they appeared in some way, shape, or form recently in that. So nice to have a copy of that. This one is a VF Plus 1977. Again from Future. Most of these books that you're going to be seeing now are from Future Past Vintage Collectibles, recently received from them. So great to have that in the mix. Wasn't expecting to pick that one up. But yes, goes towards trying to complete that Fantastic Four run. Speaking of monsters, Peter Parker, Spectacular Spider-Man, issue 40. This then is the tragedy. So Peter begins as a man and ends as a monster, transforming into lizard-like creature. Assuming that is something to do with Mr. Kurt Connors. Dr. Kurt Connors. So we'll see. I haven't had a chance to crack that open and have a look yet. We have more monster themed. We have Daredevil 310. Calypso's back. This is the first Calypso cover and an Infinity War crossover. Again, super high grade on this one. Picked that up for $8. The classic original monster himself, Incredible Hulk. This is issue 34. Jones and Romita Jr. art on the interiors, but this cover is what makes this book in my mind. It's a recreation of Hulk Annual. I think Hulk Annual number 1. Beautifully realized. It's a homage to the Steranko cover, but a beautiful looking book nonetheless. Pad Bear's come back. It fits into the old continuity as a standalone story around the time he was hunting the Trader General. Interesting. I will definitely check that one out. Another one interesting for me. I might crack this one open. This is the best of horror and science fiction, which from memory, I think collects some of those old, it's a reprint title, in beautiful condition, as you always expect from Future Past Vintage Collectibles. But it's beautiful looking artwork in here. Has a real sort of old school sense about it. I think there might even be recreations of old stories, or even reprints of old stories. It looks like reprints of old stories. But it's great to get these, and these are pretty horrific and monster related. So I thought this also fitted in. But yeah, I thought that would be a nice little one to pick up. Little homage to the golden age there. So So I'll pop that back in. This one was $25 near mint plus. And again, some of these I may Gary did, or I may not. We'll see. I'm tending to keep books raw nowadays, which is funny, considering how many slabs I've got. Not planning to submit anything until March, especially with the turnaround times at CTC at the moment. It's a little crazy. This one likely will get submitted. This one is notable. This is Saga of the Swamp Thing, number 21. This one's notable as the first story where the new Swamp Thing is revealed. This is where Alan Moore turned the story around in terms of your expectations on Swamp Thing, and where the modern Swamp Thing story really truly begins. It's almost like a reimagining of his origin. Great to have this one. I do already have a reader copy of this one, but this is going to be my gradable copy. I think this one's really undervalued in terms of its impact on the story. As I say, without this book, the Swamp Thing run, this is the first true Swamp Thing in his current modern form, from Alan Moore, and again the real direction of where this story was going. So super happy to grab that. Let's move some of these books across so you can see that one's a near mint plus, so that one will grade out pretty high. Next is not a book from Future Past Vintage Collectibles, or a set of books from Future Past Vintage Collectibles. This is from another friend of the channel, Dave at West Coast Devengers. Picked these up. If you have monsters, you've got to have King Kong. So I managed to pick up these Monster Comics amazing King Kong books. We've got issue 2 of 6, issue 3 of 6, and these again in great shape. Issue 4, just look at those covers, absolutely brilliant. Issue 5, and to close us off, issue 6. I think there's only 6 in the run, 6 of 6. You'll note here there's one missing, and that one that's missing is issue 1. Now I do have it, but that will be saved for another video coming soon. And those of you that know that King Kong run from Monster Comics will know why I'm probably holding that to share with you, because it's going to be going in a whole batch, another video while discussing the significance of that issue alongside why I'm picking that book up alongside many others. So that's the King Kong run. Then we're back to our friends at Future Past Vintage Collectibles. Again, this is the reason why I picked these up. As a bit of a completionist, I obviously have a copy of another book from the Airboy run, which I wanted to sort of pick up and have. And as a result, I saw these near mint Airboy number 10 with a werewolf cover. Airboy number 18. These are from Eclipse Comics in the 80s. Or maybe the early 90s, actually. Tell a lie. Airboy 19, The Return of the Rats. Airboy 24, with The Return of the Heap. The Heap being a character very similar to Swamp Thing, as you can see here, or Man Thing. And then Mr. Monster versus the Heap inside this Airboy number 28. And again, all of these from 1987. There you go. I was right the first time. 1987, near mint. These are all in tip-top shape as usual from our friends at Future Past Vintage Collectibles. But again, I'm collecting these for a specific reason, as I needed one other book in the run, and so thought I'll try and complete the Airboy run as well now. So that's the monster-themed books. And as I say, this was a monster haul. So let me just grab the rest of them for you, and we'll go through. So that's our monster books. Let's put them to one side, and let's start digging into the rest of this monster haul. Obviously, I'm collecting the Absolute series. Have all three so far. So picked up this copy of Absolute Batman #2. A little bit of a departure. I wasn't as keen on this as I was the first issue. Still, that's a fantastic cover, and hopeful for the way this series progresses. So happy with that. From my recent trip to Hong Kong, managed to pick up not one, but 2 copies of West Coast Avengers #1 at cover price in Hong Kong, that is 41 Hong Kong dollars, which is not as much as you think in Australian or US. So got that at essentially cover price, which is great. This features the first appearance of Blue Bolt, a new character that Marvel has created. Apparently the biggest a-hole in the Marvel universe. So we'll see how that one goes. But I've been doing a bit of digging on this one as well. So Blue Bolt was an original character, I think, from the Golden Age. And obviously that character has fallen into the public domain now. So anyone can create a character, Blue Bolt, based off that character. Now, what's interesting about this is some other people have been doing something similar. I saw a YouTube video of another creator who had set up his own version of Blue Bolt and modernized it. So it's interesting to see Marvel dip their toes in terms of the public domain heroes. Not sure if that's what influenced them, but certainly thought it was worth the spec at cover price to pick up the first 2, depending on where this character goes. Looks like the sort of thing that could go into the MCU. Who knows? And I think a Todd Nuck cover there. Then I managed to pick up this Frank Miller Unity title. This is Archer and Armstrong, issue #1. This I got from, so that one I got from Metro Comics in Hong Kong. This from my local comic shop, All Star Comics in Melbourne. This one came from our friends at Future Past Vintage Collectibles, so the Archer and Armstrong #1. I thought I want to get myself into some of this Valiant titles, so that was a bit of a nice little starting point, especially with a little bit of Frank Miller there for you. Then I also picked up this, or 2 of these, from Dave and Rachel at Future Past Vintage Collectibles. Early Max appearance and first Death Blow in there. I know that this book was hot for a little while due to the early Max appearance, but yeah, I thought that would be, wanted to pick up a couple of those. So who knows, one of those staying in the PC, another one maybe going up for sale. But yeah, they're all in tip-top shape, as you can see, and presented in, I think they're all both near mint plus, I think. Monster theme of sorts. We've got this incredible cover of the Hulk versus Dr. Samson. This is issue 193. This one is near mint. Super happy to grab that one. Very early, or reasonably early Hulk, just post 181. So yeah, early Hulk there, classic Bronze Age. Here's one for some of my friends, Lettuce and Nate at Hall Comics. He's obviously a big fan of Flaming Carrot, so I thought I may as well get in there, pick him up. Dark Horse Comics, Flaming Carrot #21 and #23 there for you. Both near mint minus copies, which if you're a Flaming Carrot fan, it's pretty hard to get those books in high grade. So again, really happy with that. This one got a Marvel Milestone edition of Fantastic Four issue 5 with that first appearance of Doctor Doom. Got this for $10, a near mint copy. Happy to grab that in absence of the actual issue 5 at the moment. So that'll be my little placeholder in the collection for now. These Marvel Milestone editions they're pretty hard to find, especially in high grade. They weren't necessarily, they were reader copies for the most part. So good to get a copy of that. And I love the silver foil type cover aspect that they add. Let me just see. We have another member in the chat. We have Alfonso Gonzalez. Good to see you. Greetings from Mallorca. Awesome. In Europe. What time is it in Europe? Thank you so much for the compliments on the comic books. As I say, still got a little way to go. It is, as I say, a big monster haul today. I need to get through some of these books and share with you the arrivals that have come over the last few months. This is Captain America, issue 14, with this beautiful, I love this cover, fantastic homage cover to the Golden Age, with Bucky and Cap in the top, and then Cap and Bucky fighting it out. The Winter Soldier, as realised by Steve Epping there. And then Brubaker story. This is a classic run. I do have the first appearance of Winter Soldier, both variants, and the time when Bucky became Captain America. So, yeah, this is a great run. And I think if you haven't read the Brubaker run of Captain America, you should go out and seek it. It's a great little run, and it was nice to be able to pick this up. And I think from memory, this is a near mint minus. Oh, it's a newsstand too, which I'd forgotten about. So, yeah, picking up a newsstand copy of that. Really happy to have that in the collection. This one, I've got my Immortal Hulk run. I'm building that out. But yeah, managed to pick up this Lee In-hyuk cover with Amadeus Cho as the Hulk there. But the Immortal Hulk run is one of my favorites, so I wanted to pick this up. Not too expensive, this one, I think. I think it was, $12 for this variant cover. But fantastic to have that, and a great looking one. A great looking cover, as you can see. Maybe I'll move some of these a little bit out of the way so you can see the other books that we've got coming. Next up, another bit of Bronze Age goodness. There we have issue 10 of Luke Cage Hero for Hire. This one is near mint minus copy. Again, love my high grades, so getting Bronze Age high grade, particularly early in the Luke Cage run as well. Really happy to pick that one up. I think this is the first Signore Savete, I think. They call him Mr. Death. So that's a good one to pick up, add to the mix. This one's a tough book in high grade. So this one's a near mint. Look at that black cover. Kitty Pryde and Wolverine issue 4 of the 6-issue run. Wasn't Al Milgrom art. I don't think it was that well received though, this book. But as a completionist, I think I've got 2 issues left to collect of this in high grade. So this is another near mint. Didn't cost too much, $8. But again, knowing the quality that Dave and Rachel have on their books, I thought this one would be a good one to share with you. And some of my favorite artwork is from the legendary Bill Sienkiewicz. And so we've got a copy of Dazzler 34 with this amazing cover by him. Story inside, not so much. But still, I'm collecting. I have the Dazzler run, but want to get the really super high grade copies of these beautiful Bill Sienkiewicz covers. This one was near mint from 1984. And again, you can really tell Bill Sienkiewicz's painted cover work there. Awesome. And then to follow that, the Dazzler 32 with this awesome Inhumans cover Love the lockjaw just down there. But just in general, having the Inhumans on there alongside Dazzler, beautifully realised by Bill Sienkiewicz there. Great cover. If you haven't checked out the Bill Sienkiewicz covers on Dazzler, I'd urge you to do so. There's a great one which homages Michael Jackson's Thriller as well. So that's good to pick up. We have a copy of Daredevil 209. My Daredevil run is pretty good. Vast majority sort of in the early 40s or 50s through to 200, and then there's a bit of a gap at this beginning point of the 200s. So this sort of fits in very well into the collection. It was one I was missing, so added to the list. Near mint copy, 1984. This one I wasn't necessarily going to pick up, but when I saw it available, this is the last but one issue in the original Star Wars comics run. Now, I used to collect the UK version of the UK comics, UK comic, Star Wars Comic Weekly. And I remember reading this story, but never got to the end of it. So this is the last but one issue. And I used to love the art. The art on this. Not many of this wasn't as popular as it was at the end of the run. So these are pretty hard to find. And this one with a black cover is pretty tough. So thought I'd pick this one up. I don't have the price details or the grade on this one. This one did come from Future Past Vintage Collectibles. Super high grade. From memory, I think it's a near mint plus. So should grade out 9.8. But yeah, to have the last but one issue of the Star Wars run, it's another one I'm considering collecting because that whole run, I really enjoyed all of those books, even in the UK format and again in the US format. I'm going to be doing a video on combining or comparing US to the UK books. I'm going to kick that off. I did a live stream on this in terms of Secret Wars recently, and it went down really well. So I'm going to be doing a long form video on this where I can compare Secret Wars, the US copies, to Secret Wars, the UK copies, and see the differences. And you get to see how we looked, how UK fans got to see the book. And there's some really interesting differences in terms of some of the covers. One of my particular favorites is the old 25th anniversary cover. If for those who are completionists on those 25th anniversary covers, there is one that was printed by the UK in Marvel UK for Secret Wars #2, which is a slight variant on it, but it's the same design. And the slight variant, I won't reveal until that video, but if you're collecting your 25th anniversary covers, you're missing one. There is one in the UK that was on a Secret Wars issue 2. Pad Bear. Kitty Pryde and Wolverine was a great read. I have 2 copies of the series, one reader copy and one nice high grade to keep and treasure. You're very similar to me, Pad Bear, in terms of that whole approach. I do like to have my reader copies alongside a high grade copy to keep. And this one, again, probably won't get this one graded, but I will keep it as a high grade copy. I won't necessarily crack it open and see if I can get the omnibus or trade to sort of read through it. But yeah, I hear mixed things about the story. I think, I'm a big fan of Al Morgan art anyway. But I think that the way they handled Kitty Pryde and made her a little bit more of a bit of a ninja is a bit of a stretch, to be honest, considering where she started. But who knows? This one I'm really happy with. This I got as near mint minus for $28. This is issue 6 of Mr. Miracle, and I think it introduces Funky Fleischman in there. It might be another first appearance in there, but I'm trying to pick up high grade copies of Mr. Miracle. I haven't had a lot of luck thus far. I'm still looking for a Mr. Miracle #1 signed by Jack Kirby himself on the interior cover in high grade. Has eluded me thus far. I think adding the Jack Kirby signature is the thing that's holding me back. But yes, I want to get a piece signed by Jack himself. I've got Stan Lee books, but and I've got George Perez books, and I've got Marv Wolfman, you name it. But for some reason, Jack Kirby and Steve Ditko signed books have eluded me thus far. And also an Alan Moore. I've got an Alan Moore signed book plate, but not an Alan Moore book. So this is one of those series that my friend Mad Spidey, his YouTube channel, he talks about Jinx books. Mr. Miracle seems to be my Jinx books per se. Whenever I get copies, I can never find high grade enough of these. Super title from DC. And hopefully Mr. Miracle will be coming to the DCU. It's the sort of character I think that really speaks to James Gunn, but haven't heard anything as yet. So I'm holding out on Mr. Miracle. I love the idea of the character, that his power being to just simply escape things. We have a copy of Incredible Hulk number 279, where Intelligent Hulk is finally accepted. And again, I think this is another, thought this was a Milgram cover, but it isn't. But yeah, great to pick that one up. We have a copy of Peter Parker's Spectacular Spider-Man number 2 with a Craven appearance alongside Tarantula. This is from the Mile High collection. So super happy to pick that one up. $34. I picked it up near mint minus. It's got this little certificate of authenticity to say it's from the second Mile High collection. So happy to pick that one up. Not the original Mile High, but the second one. But still, that one probably will get graded just to get that pedigree label on there. It's, as I say, near mint minus, so graded in the 992. So again, early in the Peter Parker Spectacular Spider-Man run. Then we have this beautiful foil goodness from later in the Peter Parker Spectacular Spider-Man run, with this great Green Goblin Spider-Man cover over this sort of foily, you can really see the foily goodness there on this great Sal Buscema cover. Brilliant to have that. Again, at near mint, $10. Who can go? You can't turn around and say no to a foil cover of Spider-Man with the Green Goblin. We got a nice bit of Doctor Who here. So this is the first appearance in US comics of Doctor Who. So the classic Tom Baker. This is issue 57 of Marvel Premiere. I think there were 3 or 4 issues, I can't remember, of this. This first appearance of 4th Doctor Who from 1980. It's near mint minus. A nice looking copy. Walt Simonson cover too, which is always a joy. Look at this. You can see his signature just here. Just look. When you realize it's Walt Simonson, you see that explosive effect there, the way he's drawn the scarf. Just very, very indicative of Walt's work. So super happy to pick that one up. Vigilante issue 1. Again, Pollard cover. This is a near mint minus, a near mint. Pick this up for $30. This is immaculate. Like, this should get a 9.8 any day of the week. So really happy to pick that up. I probably will look to think about getting this one graded. We'll see. And I'll be starting a new series soon, so I'll be appreciating people's feedback on which books I actually get in for submission. So there you go. First issue of Vigilante. And then bought this, I think it's a George Perez cover. Yeah, Wonder Woman 120, 10th anniversary issue. I think this is when John Byrne was writing the book. But I just loved this George Perez cover, so I thought I had to pick that one up. So again, you can see my collecting tastes are growing even more. I'm really getting back to sort of picking up some of these key books, and I'll have some more to share with you next week. I've got a whole host of new material that came in just before the show, so I didn't want to sort of include it in this batch. But there are more books to come and more interesting titles that you wouldn't normally expect me to be collecting. Obviously, those of you who are long-term viewers of the channel will know I am a huge fan of the old Marvel Age fanzine magazine. So great to pick up another copy, trying to complete that run. Only 25 cents. This one, this is issue number 5 with this Daredevil and Elektra cover. So great to pick that one up too. This was near mint, 1983. So again, goes very well in my Marvel Age collection. And then to close us off, we have a whole batch of books that I was collecting when I was first collecting comics. So great to be getting these back in the collection, and particularly in high grade. This one, Near Mint Plus, issue 253. I think Mark Silvestri art there. This was, I loved the title up until sort of this point in the issues where it started to slip a little bit. This in particular, the whole Siege Perilous, this issue 247. Loved the Sentinels, just wasn't too keen on the reinvention of the X-Men during this one. I sort of fell off towards the end, and this part of the run was almost like, this is why I've sort of held off collecting this, because this is where, when we get to the Bishop storyline, that was where I really sort of lost interest in it, because Claremont was no longer writing it. These titles were still written by Claremont at this point, so I think my cutoff point for X-Men is that around that period where Chris left the title. And yeah, I think, as I say, this one in particular, 247, I enjoyed this one. I enjoyed this issue. I wasn't sure where it was going to go. But 254, I think this was where it started for me to sort of go. I liked the idea of bringing in a whole new batch of X-Men, but it just became a bit of a trope. And yeah, as I say, started to slip away from this point up until the bit where you got Bishop in the title. But still, almost completing my X-Men run, particularly in the post. Basically, I've been trying to collect everything from issue, I think from the first X-Men 94 through to, I say, 280 of the X-Men. So that part of the collection is going well. Still need to really hone in on the early part of the X-Men run, but still, nonetheless, great to grab those books. This one's a nice one. Fantastic Four versus the X-Men. John Bogdanove and Terry Austin cover here. This is number 4 in the 4-issue limited series where the two teams combine. Near mint. Super happy to get that. And then this is a bit of a controversial one. I have a bit of a love-hate relationship with this run. Again, this is one where it's almost felt like Grant Morrison decided to throw everything out of the water for the X-Men. Some people love it, some people dislike it. I'm sort of in the latter camp a little bit, but still there's some keys in here, such as this one. So this is the first appearance of Phantom X. So I thought I'd pick this one up. Managed to grab it for $24, a near mint copy. Yeah, so I'll take that. Wasn't Frank Quietly art on this one. I actually enjoyed Frank Quietly's art on these books. So I think that was probably my issue. I think if it had kept the Frank Quietly art throughout, it might have actually kept me on the book. But they changed the artist so many times through this book that I sort of lost interest. This one is the first appearance of Quentin Quire, Kid Omega. Again, two of the big main characters that came out of the run. So, yeah, great to pick that one up as well. So, that's your monster haul. Let's just bring it back. Big load of books for you this week. Hope you enjoyed it. I had lots of fun digging through those, picking them up and getting them. Now I have to sort them in the wall of comics and get them back in boxes, tick them off my CLZ app. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the books. Please let me know what you thought. And as I say, if you're new to the channel and you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe and ring the notification bell so that you get alerted to more videos like this one. And with that, I will leave you all to your rest of your weekends. And for those of you in Australia, enjoy the week. And I will see you all very, very soon. Don't forget to check out our other great videos, as well as our weekly live stream, the Merry Monday Mailcall Show. Every Monday at 7:30 AM Australian Eastern, Sunday 5:30 PM Eastern and 2:30 PM Pacific, as well as follow us on Instagram, Facebook and X at still only 35 cents. Enough said.